So in this lecture, we'll be talking about box shadow property. So for the box shadow property, it's kind of similar to the text shadow, the font shadow, the text shadow property. So let me demonstrate how this works. So first of all, I'm just going to create a div, which is a box. So div, and then I'm going to make this ID box, and of course, I'm just going to select it here. So I'm going to use the ID selector, specifying its name, and then I just want to make it 300 pixels by 300 pixels, so height is equal to 300 pixels, width is equal to 300 pixels as well. And of course, just to make it visible, I will add a border. So border black, that's 2 pixels, and then I'm going to make it a solid border in the following way. Just have to make sure I spell this correctly here. Let me just refresh. So that's our box. Now I'll demonstrate the box shadow property. So almost all elements in HTML are boxes, almost all of them. So most of them that you will encounter are boxes. And I'll introduce you to the box model for CSS in the coming lectures. But for now, I'll just demonstrate this. So in a similar way to the text shadow that we had, we can simply go for the shadow. We can just go with 2px, and I'll explain what these mean in a moment. 2px, and then something like gray. Okay, so in a similar fashion, so this first 2px means how many units to the left or the right must the shadow be, and this 2px shows how many units down or up it should be. So if it's negative, it will go up. Let me demonstrate here. So watch carefully here. So it goes up if this value here is minus 2px, and then this 2px stands for, in a similar to text shadow, in a similar fashion to text shadow, stands for the blur. So for example, if I increase the blur radius here, see it gets more blurry, and I can just go 10 pixels. So I'm increasing the blur radius up, and now this 2px here stands for the spread. So how spread out is it? So let me see here. If I go 5px, you will notice that it will be more spread out. And if I go something like 15px, our shadow will be more spread out in the following way. So that's how this works. And of course, gray is our color. We can also go RGBA here, RGBA. And let me just select some random values for red. For green, I can just go 153. For blue, I could just go 240, for example. And then A here is for alpha. So how opaque is it? So we get values from 1 to 0, it means transparent. 1 means very opaque. So I'm just going to go here 1, for instance, make it opaque. So there we go. So we got this blue color, and the opacity is here. So let me just put this at 0, and I just wanted to go to the right, say 10 pixels. Okay, we'll be just way off. There we go. And the opacity here, I could just decrease the opacity. So what's the opacity property here? See, it just becomes more transparent. And right, we got this outer box shadow. We can also have an inner box shadow. For example, this applications might be in a pressed button. So in order to get this shadow inside of our box here, we use a property called inset prior to all of these other properties, all of these other values here. So for example, if I go inset, if I go insert here, see, we notice that the shadow now is inside the box. And if I come here, 2 pixels, and I could just increase the spread radius to 6 pixels, for example. So it just spreads inwards towards the box, but without insertion spreads outwards from the box. So that's how the box shadow property works. Thank you very much.